President Muhammadu Buhari visits Bishop of Canterbury in London. Eid al-Maulud, President Buhari asks Muslims to emulate virtues of Prophet Muhammad. And Governor Lalong signs MOU for the establishment of tea factory in Plateau State. Hello, thanks for joining us on the news at 10 on NTA News 24. I am Ruth Aguela. President Muhammadu Buhari has paid a visit to the Lambeth Palace, the official London residence of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby. The president was received by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Reverend Justin Welby, who has been a regular visitor to the Nigerian House in London as guest of President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria and England share a long history of cordial relations, and this reciprocal visit is a testimony to that. Pictures released by the Special Assistant to the President of New Media, Bashir Ahmed, shows President Buhari with Most Reverend Justin Welby at the Lambeth Palace on the south bank of River Thames. And back home in another development, President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama on his appointment as Archbishop of Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja by the Holy Father Pope Francis, following the retirement of John Cardinal Onaikan. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the President recognizes the roles Archbishop Kaigama had played in promoting peace, interfaith dialogue and mutual understanding between Christians and Muslims in the country. As His Grace Archbishop Kaigama begins a new phase of his ministry, the President joins all members of the Catholic Church across Nigeria in praying for a successful and memorable tenure in office that will see the Church accomplish great things for the unity and prosperity of the nation, while complementing government's efforts at human and material development. The President also felicitates with Archbishop John Cardinal Onaikan on his retirement, commending the eminence for his dedicated service to the Catholic Church and invaluable contributions to the spiritual life of Christians under his pastoral care. Recounting previous audiences with Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria in the past few years, the President appreciates the many contributions Catholics have made to Nigeria's development and assures the leadership of the Church of his government's active support to faith-based organizations as partners in progress. Similarly, Plateau State Governor Simon Bako Lalong has congratulated Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama on his appointment by the Holy Father Pope Francis as the Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja, following the retirement of John Cardinal Onaikan. In a statement by Director of Press and Public Affairs to the Governor, Dr. Makut Simon Macham, Governor Lalong described the appointment of Archbishop Kaigama as a higher calling to divine duty, which follows his impeccable track record of service in the Lord's vineyard over many decades. He particularly expressed joy that the new Archbishop has tremendously contributed to the growth of the Catholic Church in Nigeria and Plateau State in particular, where he consistently availed the state his wealth of wisdom and experiences, especially during difficult moments. While praying, calling God to give him the grace to carry out the new assignment, Lalong assured the Archbishop of the continuous prayers and support of the government and people of Plateau State. The Plateau State Governor also congratulated John Cardinal Onaikan on his retirement after many years of meritorious service to the Catholic Church, Christendom and Nigeria at large, where he stood for unity, justice, reconciliation, accountability and righteousness. He also prayed God to grant him good health and more wisdom as he enjoys his life in retirement. And now to Eid al-Maulud, President Muhammadu Buhari says the greatest honor Muslims could do the Prophet Muhammad is to follow his shining examples of non-violence, peaceful disposition and remarkable virtues of patience.
His goodwill message to the Muslim Ummah on the occasion of the Maulud celebration to commemorate the birthday of Prophet Muhammad, President Buhari said, putting into practice the great virtues for which the Holy Prophet is historically famous and revered would have a far greater impact on changing attitudes and behaviors than the best sermons ever will. He said the indiscriminate killing of innocent people, the killing of female students and forcing them into marriage and conversion are contrary to the teachings and personal examples of Prophet Muhammad. Violent extremism, he said, is the single biggest challenge facing the image of Islam today, which has been hijacked by a minority of misguided elements who are using religion to cover up their criminal agenda. The president said there is the urgent need for increased vigilance by Muslims in order to frustrate and stop the spread of violent ideologies that are causing human havoc and tragedies around the world. He advised Muslims not to allow their children to be lured and recruited by extremists who will ultimately destroy their lives and future. While wishing Muslim Ummah a peaceful celebration, the president urged them to use this occasion to renew their resolve in promoting tolerance, love, harmony, and peaceful coexistence in the country. President Buhari also sent special goodwill messages to the emirs of Dara, Alhaji Farouk Umar Farouk, Kazare, Najib Hussaini Adamu, Hadija, Alhaji Adamu Abubakar Maji Haruna, and that of Gume, Alhaji Hamad Muhammad Sani, whose people celebrate this festival named Salah Gani with greater favor, as well as prayers for the unity, progress and prosperity of Muslims in Nigeria and around the world.
Similarly, President of the Senate Ahmad Lawal has felicitated with Muslim faithful on the commemoration of this year's Eid al-Maulud. Lawal, in a statement by his special advisor on media, Ola Awuni, urged Muslims and Nigerians in general to imbibe the virtues of peace, tolerance, justice and love for one another, as exemplified by Prophet Muhammad. He implored Muslims in particular to always emulate the virtues of Prophet Muhammad, which include honesty, love for others and peaceful coexistence. Also, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, in his Eid message urged countrymen and women, especially Muslim Ummah, to use the occasion of Maulud to offer prayers for Nigeria. In a statement from his special advisor on media and publicity, Lanre Lasisi, the Speaker urged Muslim faithful to imbibe the good teachings and leadership qualities the Holy Prophet was known for, in addition to promoting unity and peace among diverse people being the key to development. And in the meantime, the All Progressives Congress has urged Muslims in particular and Nigerians in general to live together in peace, be law-abiding and eschew hate and bitterness to help build a country that all can be proud of. The party said President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is working hard and succeeding in fixing one after the other numerous challenges confronting the nation. And this, the APC believe, can be sustained only in an atmosphere of peace and sacrifices and love for the fatherland, which Prophet Muhammad exemplified in his lifetime. Now let's talk agric. Farmers in Nigeria will continue to have access to quality and affordable fertilizer following the successes recorded by the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. Now, under this initiative, the country is today boasting of more than 24 fertilizer blending plants producing and distributing more than 2 million tons of the product to farmers. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that the Presidential Initiative has addressed corruption in the fertilizer value chain.
It has been a long time when issues relating to siphoning, diversion, even cases of racketeering in the distribution of fertilizer made headlines or discussed in the media. This is because of the policy put in place by the federal government, which has successfully removed middlemen from the distribution chain. These agriculturists say contributed largely to increase in the yield per hectare being recorded by farmers nationwide.
In Zamfara State, there was this old man. He plants rice 3 times a year, and he got about 11 metric tons per hectare.
Farmers don't need to pay for the insurance separately. They don't pay premium separately. The price of the insurance is packaged and bundled into the cost of the fertilizer.
To further strengthen the policy, the National Assembly has enacted a law which the President has signed to prescribe punishment for those engaged in selling fake and adulterated fertilizer to farmers.
penalty is 7 years imprisonment without an option of fine, because it is highly criminal for somebody to sell fertilizer to our unsuspecting farmers, a fertilizer that is deficient in plant nutrients, fertilizer that is adulterated, misbranded or unbranded, or even divert fertilizer.
Reports across the country indicate that the price of fertilizer remains 5,500 naira as agreed between the federal government and producers. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And still on agric, the need for more farmers to embrace agroforestry farming systems in view of its potential has been emphasized. This was at the close of a 2-day workshop on food sustainability and economic recovery at the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria. Kemi Ocean will tell us more.
Recent innovative technology and research in improvement of genetic resources of forest trees and agroforestry system, among others, have indicated viable potentials in solving environmental challenges, creating jobs, and eradicating hunger in the society.
Our target is that annually, via various products that we're coming out with, at least 1 million Nigeria be gainfully employed.
The prostate enlargement issues that we know that it happens to most men these days. So we have researched and come up with a particular drug that will be effective to treat and manage those things.
Participants at the workshop were unanimous in the view that governments, investors, as well as other farmers should adopt technology and research findings presented at the workshop for better socioeconomic development.
Some of our technologies that we have developed at the Institute, for instance, mushroom.
As I'm looking for how to get acres of land where I can get the seedlings from this institution to plant. So the lectures and everything is very okay.
The agroforestry farming system workshop, attended by farmers and forestry researchers across the country, creates opportunity to showcase recent development in research and technology. In Ibadan, Kemi Oshin, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Let's go on a break. We're back shortly. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Now let's talk business. Aspiring entrepreneurs urged to embrace knowledge acquisition as federal government's closure of land borders receives thumbs up. Let's join Kunle Adeye for details.
With clamor for Nigeria's teeming youth population to develop their talents to create wealth and generate employment, those aspiring to be entrepreneurs have been enjoined to be in tune with latest global trends in their quest to be self-reliant. An entrepreneur, Chukwuma Okenwa, said these will be realized when government and private institutions place premium on skills acquisition.
And then most importantly, young persons must be ready to submit themselves to apprenticeship and mentorship. Recent research reveals that the missing link in recent entrepreneurial attempts is what? Failure of apprenticeship, people to get apprenticed and then to be mentored. But when you go through the process, learn all the whole process around the business.
In another development, the closure of land borders in the country has been described as one that will enable Nigeria change her status from a consuming and importing country to a productive and exporting one. Managing Director of Abuja Enterprise Agency, Mohammed Arabi Tukur, said Nigerians should look inward and use local means to address the challenges facing the internal business environment.
But to a large extent, when you're talking about nation building, this is the right way to go. I am a strong advocate of the border closure. I have said it several times. This is not the first time. Even the January 2020 that Mr. President is saying may be considered as the period of lifting the suspension. I think it should be extended beyond that.
With business news, I'm Kunle Adeyeye.
In other news, a tea processing factory will soon be established in Plateau State thanks to the visit of Governor Simon Bako Lalong to Kenya on behalf of the Northern Governors Forum. Now, this follows the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Plateau State government and the government of Kericho County in Kenya, following the visit of Governor Lalong to various counties of the country. The report.
The Memorandum of Understanding was signed on behalf of the two governments by Professor Danladi Atu, Secretary of Government of Plateau State, and Jos Betts, County Secretary of Kericho in Kenya, and witnessed by the two governors. Before the signing of the agreement, Governor Lalong had taken a tour of the Ketekpa Tea Processing and Packaging Company, which is the largest tea farming company in Kenya that is driven by the Farmers Cooperative Society.
We have sister countries producing better products than sometimes when we run overseas, go and start looking for them. This is the time to also start cutting friendship within Africa. Let's look at what our African brothers have before we even go outside. So that is the opportunity that we have here. If you go to Nigeria, you have some African countries packaging a lot of items in Nigeria. Just like also you have in other countries, in other African countries where Nigerian products are packaged in those places. So we just want to open up the market and see how we can do synergy. I have seen Kenyan tea, and I know in Nigeria that if you ask where they produce tea, they will tell you it's Kenya. If you ask what is Kenya known for, they will tell you it's tea, athletics, and tourism. And tourism, of course, tourism, wildlife. So the issue of tea is known to Nigerians already. But we are trying to say that which kind of tea do we want? And we see variety of teas here. So if we are able to do that and we package it in Nigeria, it will go a long way.
The governor also discussed the possibility of training long-distance runners in Kericho, which has been the base of Kenya's athletic strength over the years. Lalong had also visited a private dairy farm where he was taken round the production line by the chairman of the farm, General John Kosh, who expressed willingness to share experiences with Plateau State and indeed other northern states in modern way of cattle rearing, which is not only profitable but a new way of maintaining communal harmony and better utilization of scarce land resources. The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum was later hosted to a warm reception at the office of the governor of Kericho County, where members of the county legislature and the executive were in attendance.
And to legislative affairs now, the spokesperson of the 9th House of Representatives, Benjamin Okezie Kalu, says the 9th House remains united as members are motivated by the leadership of the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila. In a statement, the spokesperson said members and other principal officers of the 9th House of Representatives admire and respect the Speaker for his sense of focus and spirit of nation building. The statement, which is in response to insinuations by some media outfits in recent reportage of alleged crack in the House, stressed that rumor peddling should be avoided by the media. It further adds that all House members have keyed into the joint tax nation-building agenda of the 9th House of Representatives. Let's go to felicitations now. President Muhammadu Buhari warmly greets former governor of Anambra State, Dame Vergie Etiaba, who turned 77, describing her as the good teacher who completely altered the history of Nigeria as first female governor between November 2006 and February 2007. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Buhari joins family members, friends, professional and political associates in celebrating the quintessential leader who worked for 35 years as teacher in various schools in different parts of the country before retiring and setting up her private school to further impact knowledge and skills to younger generation. He commends her disciplined and focused life, urging her to proudly reflect on her legacy of building the nation by imbibing the younger generation with sound moral and educational values. The president congratulates the former deputy governor and governor of Anambra State, whose historical elevation and position in Nigeria's history continues to resonate on the possibilities before women who can venture out to break age-long glass ceilings. President Buhari praised that Almighty God will continue to strengthen Dame Etiaba, grant her longer life and good health. And in other news, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has felicitated with eminent Nigerian senior citizen Alhaji Mamman Daura on his occasion of his 80th birthday, I beg your pardon. In a statement by his special advisor on media, Ola Awoniyi, Lawan applauded Alhaji Daura's love for Nigeria and its people, a virtue he said has drawn him friends and associates from across the political and religious spectrum of the country. The President of the Senate also praised Alhaji Daura's passionate and meritorious service to the nation. He described Alhaji Daura's life as exemplary and worthy of emulation by all Nigerians who share his passion and hope for the unity and development of the country. Lawan prayed that Almighty Allah will grant him more fruitful years ahead with good health. And up next is foreign news. Let's join our foreign desk for details.
News from the foreign scene have it that Cameroon has set February 9, 2020 for its legislative polls. In a presidential decree announcement on Sunday, the report said the last legislative polls was held in 2013 for 5-year terms. President Paul Biya, who was re-elected in 2018, has twice postponed the elections. He is said to have ruled the country for 37 years. And to Bolivia, reports say the president, Evo Morales, has resigned on Sunday after a disrupted re-election in October. The president agreed to call for new elections after an audit by the Organization of American States called for the October polls to be annulled. The organization is said to have mounted pressure on the leftist leader to step down as government allies resigned, which they say the election was found to have serious irregularities in the vote won by Morales. This, however, has ignited widespread protest around the country. Meanwhile, Pope Francis has urged South Sudanese leaders to seek unity and overcome their differences. This the Pope said in front of thousands of faithful gathered at the St. Paul's Square on Sunday. The pontiff used the occasion to employ them to pray for the unity in the East African nation, which has been torn apart since its independence, and also a prayer for Bolivia. Lastly, Nikki Haley, the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, has said 2 top White House aides encouraged her to undermine President Donald Trump. The former ambassador said the then Chief of Staff, John Kelly, and the then Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, told her to resist some of President Trump's demands that they reportedly told her they were trying to save the country. There was no immediate comment from Rex Tillerson, but John Kelly said he had wanted the president to be fully informed.
And from foreign